Have you ever reached a point in life where you quietly wondered, why do I feel more exhausted by people than by growing older? It isn't always age that steals our peace. Sometimes it's misplaced trust. Sometimes it's years of living for everyone else. And sometimes it's holding on to relationships that have quietly been hurting us for decades. The older we become, the more valuable our time is. And yet many people spend these precious years carrying burdens that no longer belong to them. Today's video isn't about fear, it's about freedom. We're going to explore 7 powerful life lessons that many people only discover after decades of experience. Lessons that can help you protect your dignity, preserve your peace, and enjoy the years ahead with greater wisdom and confidence. One of these lessons may completely change how you see your family, your friendships, and even yourself. So stay with me until the very end, because the final lesson often surprises people the most, and it may be exactly what you need to hear today. Before we begin, if you enjoy thoughtful conversations about aging wisely, emotional well-being, and finding purpose after 60, please consider subscribing to After 60 Life Wisdom. We'd be honored to have you join our growing community. And as you watch, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one life lesson that only age has taught you? Your wisdom may become exactly the encouragement someone else needs today. Now let's begin. Don't trust everyone who comes into your life. One of the greatest misconceptions about aging is that loneliness automatically makes every new relationship a blessing. Unfortunately, that isn't always true. As we grow older, many of us naturally crave companionship. Children become busy with their own families. Old friends move away, become ill, or pass on. Life grows quieter. And when silence becomes part of everyday life, even a little attention can feel incredibly comforting. That is exactly why older adults often become vulnerable, not because they lack intelligence, but because they still possess something beautiful. They believe in the goodness of people. After decades of raising families, helping neighbors, supporting friends, and giving without expecting much in return, many seniors continue assuming others operate with the same kindness. Sadly, not everyone does. Some people recognize loneliness almost instantly. They know exactly what to say. They know when to offer sympathy. They know how to appear caring. But their kindness often lasts only as long as their benefit. Have you ever noticed someone who only calls when they need a favor? Someone who suddenly becomes attentive when they need financial help? Or who disappears completely once your problem has been solved? These patterns rarely appear overnight. They reveal themselves slowly. Perhaps a distant relative suddenly begins visiting more often after learning you've sold your house. Maybe an old acquaintance constantly asks for small favors that somehow become larger each time. Or perhaps someone showers you with compliments while quietly expecting access to your time, money, or emotional energy. Manipulation rarely begins with demands. It usually begins with affection. That's what makes it so difficult to recognize. As we age, protecting our peace becomes just as important as protecting our physical health. That doesn't mean becoming suspicious of everyone. It means becoming wiser about whom you allow into your inner circle. Real friendship is consistent. It doesn't disappear when your circumstances improve. It doesn't make you feel guilty for saying no. It doesn't pressure you into sacrificing your own needs. True friends respect your boundaries because they respect you. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself after 60 is permission to observe people before fully trusting them. Watch what they do, not just what they say. Time reveals character better than promises ever can. Ask yourself, do they celebrate your happiness? Or do they seem most comfortable when you depend on them? Do they bring peace into your life? Or do they constantly leave you feeling emotionally drained? These questions aren't signs of cynicism, they're signs of wisdom. There is nothing wrong with protecting your heart. You've spent an entire lifetime building the life you have. You have every right to safeguard your emotional well-being. Many older adults eventually discover something profound. It is far better to have 2 sincere friends than 20 people who only remember you when they need something. Quality will always matter more than quantity, especially now. As the years become increasingly precious, every relationship should add value to your life, not quietly steal your joy. If this lesson resonates with you, write wisdom in the comments below. I'd love to know how many of you have learned this truth through your own experience, and perhaps your story will help someone else avoid the same pain. Lesson 2. Stop living only to please everyone else. For many people over 60, this may be the hardest lesson of all, because you've spent your entire life giving. You sacrifice sleep to raise children. You postponed dreams to pay bills. You worked long hours so your family could have opportunities you never had. You gave your strength, your time, your patience, and often pieces of yourself. You did it willingly because love asks us to give. But somewhere along the journey, many people forgot one important truth. Love should never require you to disappear. Many older adults continue living as though their only purpose is solving everyone else's problems. Even after retirement, even after decades of sacrifice, even when their own health begins to decline, they continue saying yes because saying no feels selfish. But is it really? Imagine spending 40 or 50 years caring for everyone around you, only to realize you've never asked yourself one simple question: what brings me joy? That question can feel surprisingly difficult to answer, not because joy disappeared, but because you've spent so long placing everyone else's happiness ahead of your own. Many parents continue providing financial support long after their children have become independent. Many grandparents cancel their own plans because they feel obligated to babysit every weekend. Many retirees continue carrying responsibilities that younger family members are fully capable of handling themselves. Not because they must, but because they feel guilty if they don't. Guilt can become one of the heaviest burdens we carry into old age. Yet guilt isn't always a sign that we're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's simply evidence that we're finally changing unhealthy patterns. Remember this: choosing yourself occasionally is not selfish. It is necessary. You've already fulfilled countless responsibilities throughout your life. You've earned the right to enjoy the years you've worked so hard to reach. Travel if you've always wanted to travel. Learn something new. Spend quiet mornings reading. Take walks without feeling rushed. Say no when you're tired. Rest without apologizing. The people who genuinely love you won't resent your happiness. In fact, they'll encourage it. Healthy relationships celebrate your peace. They don't demand your exhaustion. One day, each of us will look back on these years. The question won't be, did I sacrifice enough? The question will be, did I allow myself to truly live? Your later years are not meant to be another season of endless obligation. They're meant to become one of the most meaningful chapters of your life. So give yourself permission to receive some of the kindness you've spent decades giving away, because you deserve it. And perhaps you've deserved it for much longer than you've allowed yourself to believe. Lesson 3. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from toxic people, even if they're family. Few beliefs are as deeply rooted as this one. Family should always come first. It's a beautiful idea, and when family relationships are built on love, respect, and kindness, they truly are life's greatest blessing. But what happens when the people who hurt you the most are the very people you're told you should never walk away from? This is one of the hardest realities many older adults eventually face. For decades, you've probably tolerated behavior that wounded your spirit. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you believed enduring it was simply part of loving your family. Perhaps you've been criticized every time you offered advice. Maybe your kindness has been mistaken for weakness. Maybe your generosity has quietly become an expectation rather than a gift. Or perhaps you've spent years walking on eggshells around someone whose words leave you emotionally exhausted after every conversation. The painful truth is this: not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your peace. Age has a remarkable way of changing priorities. When you're younger, you often believe there's plenty of time to fix broken relationships. You tell yourself, they'll change. Things will get better. Maybe next year. But after 60, something becomes painfully clear. Time is no longer something we assume. It's something we treasure. Every stressful conversation, every sleepless night, every holiday filled with tension comes with a price. And that price becomes far more expensive than it once was. Many older adults remain trapped in unhealthy relationships because guilt whispers the same sentence over and over, but they're family. Yet family should never become a reason to accept emotional abuse. Love without respect isn't healthy. Loyalty without boundaries becomes self-neglect. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every single day. Inside it are years of criticism, broken promises, manipulation, constant disappointment. Eventually, the weight becomes so familiar that you forget life could feel lighter. Setting boundaries is simply choosing to put that backpack down. Notice that boundaries are not punishment, they are protection. Sometimes a healthy boundary means limiting how often you answer the phone. Sometimes it means refusing conversations that always become arguments. Sometimes it means saying, I love you, but I won't allow myself to be treated this way anymore. That sentence takes enormous courage, but it may also become one of the most healing decisions you ever make. Remember this: distance does not always mean hatred. Sometimes distance is how peace begins. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your presence rather than merely tolerate it. Spend time with those who make you feel respected instead of constantly explaining your worth. Because at this stage of life, your emotional energy is precious. Don't spend it proving your value to people determined not to see it. Instead, invest it in relationships that bring laughter, comfort, understanding, and genuine love. If this lesson speaks to your heart, leave the word peace in the comments. Sometimes one simple word reminds us that protecting our peace isn't selfish, it's wisdom. Lesson 4. Stop waiting for others to recognize your sacrifices. Think back over your life. How many dreams did you quietly set aside for someone else? How many opportunities did you decline because your family needed you? How many nights did you stay awake worrying, working, giving, without expecting anything in return? Most people over 60 have a lifetime filled with invisible sacrifices, the kind no one applauded, the kind that never appeared in family photographs, the kind only your heart remembers. Perhaps you believed that one day your children would fully understand everything you gave up for them. Maybe you imagined your spouse would eventually recognize your silent acts of love. Or perhaps you hoped that anyone, would simply look at you and say, "Thank you for everything you've done." Sometimes that moment comes, but many times it never does. And waiting for it can quietly steal years of your happiness. One of the greatest emotional traps in later life is believing your peace depends upon someone else's gratitude. Because if your happiness depends on another person's appreciation, you're giving them control over your heart. When appreciation doesn't arrive, disappointment slowly turns into resentment. You begin replaying old memories. You remember every sacrifice, every compromise, every missed opportunity. And instead of feeling proud, you begin asking yourself, was any of it worth it? The answer is yes, but not for the reason you might think. Your sacrifices were valuable because they reflected who you are, not because someone applauded them. Kindness does not lose its value simply because it goes unnoticed. Compassion doesn't become meaningless because no one said thank you. Your character has never depended upon someone else's recognition. It has always belonged to you. Imagine planting a beautiful tree. You water it for years. You protect it through storms. One day it grows tall enough to provide shade for everyone around it. Does the tree become less beautiful simply because nobody thanks the gardener? Of course not. The beauty was always in the act of planting. Your life has been much the same. Every act of generosity, every difficult choice, every moment you chose love over comfort, helped shape the person you've become. And that is something no one can take away. As we grow older, we discover a different kind of freedom. The freedom to stop chasing validation. The freedom to stop proving our worth. The freedom to know that our value has never depended upon applause. You don't need permission to be proud of your life. You don't need recognition to know you love deeply. You don't need approval to understand that your sacrifices mattered, because they did. Now is the time to release expectations that have weighed on your heart for years. Instead of asking, "Why don't they appreciate me?" try asking, "What kind of life do I want to enjoy with the time I still have?" That question changes everything. It shifts your focus away from what others failed to give and toward what you can still give yourself. Peace, joy, freedom, self-respect. Those gifts are still waiting for you. If you're still watching, I'd love to hear from you. Write grateful in the comments if you've learned that inner peace is far more valuable than waiting for someone else's approval. Your experience might encourage another viewer who's still carrying that invisible weight. Lesson 5. Stop using your age as an excuse not to change. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I'm too old for that"? Too old to learn something new, too old to travel, too old to start over, too old to make new friends, too old to change old habits. At first, these words seem harmless, almost practical, but over time, they become something much more dangerous. They become a prison built not from reality, but from belief. The greatest limitation most people face after 60 is rarely their age. It's the quiet decision they've made to stop growing. Somewhere along the way, society convinced many of us that life follows a fixed script. Study when you're young, work through adulthood, retire, slow down, wait. But life has never truly worked that way. Some people discover their purpose at 70. Others fall in love again at 75. Some write books in their 80s. Others finally begin painting, traveling, volunteering, or starting businesses long after retirement. The calendar never decided what was possible. Only the mind did. Think about everything you've already survived. You've endured heartbreak, financial struggles, loss, illness, unexpected disappointments. You've adapted through decades of change. So why would learning something new suddenly become impossible now? In fact, you possess something your younger self never had. Perspective, patience, experience, wisdom earned through countless victories and failures alike. Those are powerful advantages. Many younger people chase success while still searching for themselves. You already know who you are, and that's an incredible foundation for growth. Imagine if you gave yourself permission to become a beginner again. Perhaps you've always wanted to learn photography, play the piano, study another language, write your life story for your grandchildren, volunteer in your community, plant a garden you've always dreamed of, or simply take the trip you've postponed for years because life was too busy. What if today became the first page instead of the last chapter? Growth doesn't belong only to youth. Curiosity has no expiration date, neither does purpose. Unfortunately, many older adults unknowingly surrender years of possibility because they compare themselves to younger people. But life isn't a competition. It's a personal journey. You don't need to run faster than anyone else. You only need to keep moving. Even small changes create remarkable momentum. A daily walk, reading one new book each month, learning to use technology that once intimidated you, calling someone you've been meaning to reconnect with, trying a hobby that makes you smile. Tiny choices repeated consistently have the power to reshape an entire season of life. Remember, the opposite of aging isn't youth. The opposite of aging is remaining fully alive. Your wrinkles tell the story of where you've been. they do not determine where you can still go. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is refusing to let age become an excuse for standing still. Because as long as your heart still hopes, as long as your mind still wonders, as long as tomorrow still arrives, there is room to become someone even wiser than you are today. If this lesson inspires you, write "never too late" in the comments. Let's remind one another that growth has no age limit. Lesson 6. Don't let the past become the only place you feel alive. Memories are beautiful. Some of life's sweetest moments exist only in our hearts. The laughter of childhood, the excitement of young love, the pride of raising children, family dinners, old friends, long summer evenings that somehow felt endless. As we grow older, these memories often become even more precious. They comfort us, they remind us who we've been, and sometimes they remind us of people we'll never see again. There's nothing wrong with remembering. In fact, gratitude for the past is one of life's greatest treasures. But there is a quiet danger hidden inside nostalgia. It begins with innocent thoughts. Things were better back then. I'll never be that happy again. My best years are behind me. At first, these feel like simple reflections, but repeated often enough, they become beliefs. And beliefs shape the way we live. When we spend too much time looking backward, we slowly stop noticing what's still unfolding in front of us. The sunrise we almost ignored, the neighbor who smiled, the grandchild eager to hear one more story. The quiet afternoon that could have become a beautiful memory, if only we had truly been present. Life doesn't ask us to forget yesterday. It simply asks us not to live there. Every season carries its own kind of beauty. Youth offers excitement. Middle age brings responsibility. Later life offers something just as precious: perspective. You notice little things more deeply. You appreciate conversations more than possessions. You understand that peace is worth more than proving yourself. These gifts only arrive with time. Imagine standing beside a river. The water you've already passed will never return, but neither will the water still flowing toward you if you refuse to look ahead. Life continues moving, whether we move with it or not. Some people spend years mourning the person they used to be. Others become deeply curious about the person they're still becoming. Which life would you rather live? The past helped shape you, but it was never meant to contain you. There are still books waiting to inspire you, places waiting to welcome you, friendships waiting to begin, conversations waiting to change your heart, simple joys waiting quietly inside ordinary days. The greatest mistake we can make after 60 isn't growing older. It's assuming nothing meaningful remains. But life has a remarkable habit of surprising those who stay open. Sometimes happiness doesn't return looking the way it once did. Sometimes it arrives in quieter forms. A peaceful morning coffee, a handwritten letter, watching birds outside your window, laughing with someone who truly understands you. These moments may seem ordinary, yet one day they may become the memories you'll cherish most. So instead of asking, "Why can't life be like it used to be?" try asking, "What beauty is waiting for me today?" That single question changes your attention. And wherever attention goes, joy often follows. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can fully experience today. And today's choices quietly become tomorrow's treasured memories. So let the past be a teacher, not a prison. Carry its wisdom, release its weight, and continue walking toward the life that is still unfolding before you. Because no matter your age, your story is not finished yet. There are still chapters waiting to be written, still smiles waiting to be shared, still purpose waiting to be discovered. And perhaps your most peaceful years are not behind you. They are only just beginning. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. Please write "still growing" in the comments below. Your words may inspire someone who has been feeling that it's too late to begin again. Lesson 7. Don't let temporary comfort become a daily escape. As we grow older, loneliness can arrive quietly, not all at once. Sometimes it appears after retirement, sometimes after children move away, sometimes after losing a lifelong partner. Or sometimes it simply arrives on an ordinary afternoon when the house feels a little too quiet. In those moments, it's only natural to look for comfort. Some people turn to television. Some spend hours scrolling through their phones. Others rely on food, shopping, gambling, alcohol, pornography, or sexual habits simply to escape uncomfortable emotions for a little while. There's nothing wrong with seeking pleasure. In fact, pleasure is one of life's beautiful gifts. The problem begins when temporary comfort quietly replaces genuine fulfillment. Take sexual pleasure, for example. Self-pleasure is a normal part of human sexuality for many adults and is not inherently unhealthy. For many people, it can be a safe way to explore their bodies, relieve stress, or experience intimacy with themselves. However, like many other behaviors, it becomes worth paying attention to if it starts feeling less like a choice and more like an escape. If it begins replacing meaningful relationships, if it interferes with daily life, if it's used mainly to numb loneliness, anxiety, boredom, or sadness, then the deeper emotional need deserves far more attention than the behavior itself. The real question isn't, is this habit good or bad? The better question is, what am I really searching for? Are you looking for connection, comfort, purpose, relief from grief, a sense of being needed? Those are deeply human needs, and they deserve compassionate answers. Many people discover that what they truly miss isn't pleasure itself. It's conversation, laughter, being understood, feeling useful, feeling loved. Imagine replacing 1 hour of isolation with something that genuinely nourishes your spirit. A walk through a nearby park, joining a community group, learning a musical instrument, reading a book that inspires hope, calling an old friend, volunteering, playing with grandchildren, growing flowers, writing your memories for future generations. These moments may seem ordinary, yet they often leave us feeling far more fulfilled than anything that merely distracts us for a few minutes. Life after 60 isn't about giving up joy, it's about discovering richer forms of it. Real joy lingers long after the moment has passed. It leaves peace behind instead of emptiness. Balance is the key. Not perfection, not guilt, not shame, simply balance. When our days are filled with purpose, meaningful relationships, curiosity, movement, gratitude, and moments of quiet reflection, we naturally depend less on temporary escapes to feel alive. And perhaps that's one of the greatest forms of freedom we can discover in later life. Final reflection. If you've stayed with me until this moment, thank you. Not just for watching, but for being willing to reflect. Growing older is something every one of us hopes to experience, yet very few people are ever taught how to age wisely. We've talked about protecting your trust, choosing yourself without guilt, creating healthy boundaries, letting go of the need for recognition, continuing to grow, living fully in the present, and seeking lasting fulfillment instead of temporary escape. These aren't simply 7 pieces of advice. They're invitations. Invitations to live the years ahead with greater intention, with greater courage, and with greater peace. The truth is, aging doesn't automatically make life smaller. It often makes life clearer. You begin realizing that time is more valuable than possessions. Peace is more valuable than proving a point. Health is more valuable than status. And genuine relationships are worth infinitely more than superficial approval. Perhaps you've already lived through challenges that once seemed impossible. You've survived losses you never imagined surviving. You've adapted more times than you can count. That alone is proof of something remarkable. You are stronger than you sometimes remember, and your story is still unfolding. There are still people whose lives will be brighter because they met you. Still conversations waiting to happen. Still sunsets waiting to be admired. Still laughter waiting to surprise you. Still dreams quietly waiting for your permission. No matter how many birthdays you've celebrated, there is still life ahead. And life, when lived with wisdom, never loses its ability to surprise us. So don't measure your remaining years by numbers. Measure them by moments, by kindness, by peace, by gratitude, by love freely given and wisely received. Because in the end, a meaningful life isn't measured by how long we lived. It's measured by how deeply we lived. Before we say goodbye, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 lessons touched your heart the most? Share your answer in the comments below. Your story may become exactly the encouragement another member of our community needs today. And if you found comfort, wisdom, or inspiration in this conversation, please consider subscribing to After 60 Life Wisdom. Every week, we share thoughtful reflections designed to help you navigate life's later chapters with greater confidence, emotional strength, and inner peace. By subscribing and turning on notifications, you'll never miss a new conversation, and you'll become part of a community that believes growing older is not something to fear, but something to embrace with wisdom. If this video spoke to you, please give it a like and share it with someone who may need these words today. Until next time, take good care of yourself, protect your peace, treasure the people who truly treasure you. Keep learning, keep growing, and always remember, the best chapter of your life isn't always the first one. Sometimes, it's the one you're living right now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon, here on After 60 Life Wisdom.